Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here. I'm Dougie Snakes. I have my friend Dave here. What's your last initial?
C.
Dave C.
Dave C.
DC.
DC.
DC shoes. You ever wear DC shoes?
My daughter.
Okay.
It either stands for Daddy and Chloe. Her name is Chloe. Or, yeah.
Just the one kid?
Yeah. That I know of.
I'm
At
playing-
this point.
I play that game
At this
myself.
point,
I
yeah.
play that game myself.
Yeah. Try not to answer the phone on Father's Day too often.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers. All right.
Yeah, so I was thinking we were chatting here before we started rolling here recording, and thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And you touched about how you live on a boat. When did this start? When did you start living on a boat?
2.5 years ago, I think.
And this is here in BC, Canada, right?
Yeah.
This is where it's, so you didn't do it anywhere else?
Nope.
Okay.
No, brought it over from... I was on my buddy's boat here in Richmond, where I'm at now, and bought his other boat. It was over on Salt Spring Island, and sailed it over, and been living on that. It was a little small, 27-foot
Okay.
Catalina. Pretty tight, pretty crowded.
Fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Right? There you go.
What brought that on it?
Cost of living
Yeah.
in the city.
Okay.
Way cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a
I don't
better
know
community.
anyone, so I'm very interested.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's a cool lifestyle. I always like boats. Being around the water is kind of my calm spot, right?
Nice.
Always has been. So living on the boat was pretty awesome. And the community and the people that you get to meet down there. And to be able to take your bed wherever you want to go, right? You finish work, you want to go somewhere, you can untie your lines and just fucking go.
So where you're docked, is there let's say a lot fee? I'm not sure what the terms are.
Yeah, it's moorage. So you pay by foot. So my 35 foot is $850 a month.
Okay.
Comes with cable. You pay hydro, but hydro is really cheap. There's a bar there. Lots of facilities.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, laundry, bathrooms, showers.
So you shower there?
Yeah.
What's it like so I know we have a pretty fair winter here in BC. Is there some shaky nights there?
Yeah, when it gets really rough in the wind, we get lots of wind up here on the coast, right? So yeah, pretty shaky. We had a cold winter. My daughter was over.
It's crazy so far.
It's fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
So because it's fiberglass and it's in the water, it's not a great insulator, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cold. But I've got a propane fireplace in there and electric heat. So do the best you can.
So for the future, is this going to still be a thing? I'm like, are you?
For me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Will you go bigger, newer?
Yeah, that's the plan. The goal is to circumnavigate the world at some point. I chatted with a guy last night, actually, to sail from Nanaimo to Costa Rica the end of October. And that's a six week voyage.
Oh, okay. And how many stops along the way?
One.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're on the water the whole time for 6 weeks?
Yeah. You go way out and down.
Now, have you done anything even near that experience, or have you done 2 weeks on the water? Or anything?
No.
So this is
yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, I've done weekends.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's fun. But that's heading over to the Gulf Islands where you're protected in between Vancouver Island.
Okay.
So some of the smaller little islands. So this will be interesting.
So for taking food and fresh water, is just math, or does this guy kind of just going to lead you the way? Do you have any? Did you even look into it that far yet? Or I'm just
No. This just happened last night. He put a call out looking for people interested in going down with him. You'll gain a bunch of your certificates for sailing, your offshore ticket, your master captain's license for certain size vessel. So because he's an instructor also, it's worth going to take the voyage for a holiday, for the experience, plus you'll be ticketed to go around the world and not be questioned.
So this is win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very interested. I've never ever put wheels in motion and all this, but houseboat for some reason to me was always very appealing. I also like trailers. I don't know because I'm white trash.
Sailor rent.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
So a little. Is that Roger Miller?
Yeah, it is. Good.
Yeah, I know.
Not Roger Whittaker.
Yeah, there
because he's the whistler.
I don't know. Trailers fascinate me. I always want to live in a trailer, and I still do to this day. I don't know if it's because I think I can afford it, even though, I mean, they're really nice. And but a houseboat or like living on a boat in general, I don't know where it came from, but I've always was a little fascinated with it. I never put any thought into it, and I don't know why.
Yep.
You kind of had me thinking.
It's awesome. You know, it's just a great life. Like to get off work, to go down, hang out on a boat, and everybody wants to hang out on a boat in the summer.
Yes.
Right. So that was pretty good when people want to come down in their bikinis and bring beer and hang out. And even just walking on the dock, getting off, everybody's down there and friendly and helpful.
You probably have a great sleep because I know, like, if I'm ever by water, it's like heroin where I'm like I start like nodding because I'm literally like as soon as I hear water, it's a sedative.
Yeah,
there's something about it, whatever is going on up here.
Yeah, well, it's rocking you back and forth. Like it is really nice, really peaceful. Hearing the waves come and slap against your hull and
it's
pretty great.
So you're in a sailboat. So how much would you be like half fuel, half sailing, or would you just be?
I don't know.
It all depends on conditions, eh?
Yeah. Or how long you want to get to your destination. How long you want to take to get to your destination. So if I'm meeting other boats over on the island, and it all depends on your tides, your currents. There's so much math to go into it before you actually just take off. So yeah. But you don't go through a lot of diesel. Like I probably went through all last summer, probably $20 worth of diesel.
Jeez, eh?
Yeah, so it's not very much.
That's amazing. I don't know, I'm looking to get a new motorcycle within next month, and then I kind of want to do from here down to Mexico. I'd like to do that for maybe.
That'd be a good trip.
Take 3 weeks off and go fuck off do that, right? Because gas is pretty cheap. I'm looking at the new lowriders for Harleys.
Are you?
But the thing is, too, I'd also like to get like a BMW or something.
Yeah.
Because those bad boys they're wicked, right? I don't know a whole lot about them, but I do. I'm buying something new. I had a Honda Shadow Sabre. I had two of them. I had one in Nova Scotia, and then when I came to rehab, I bought another one.
Right.
I was just very fortunate. But then when I had my motorcycle and then I had my car out there, couldn't afford insurance on both of them. It was like $1,000 a month to insure both.
Oh.
Because the bike was over 1,000 cc's. I'm fucking.
You must have a great insurance record.
I have none.
Really?
Because I never had my license until I was 29.
Oh, okay.
So I just drove illegally in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
My motorcycle, I had fake plates on it, and I didn't even have that long before I came out here. I only had it for about a year. I wouldn't go far on it, right? I just go little shots around. Or it's funny because I like when I'm driving that car or something, and I'm like a little bit sleepy. I'm like, oh, I should like go home and sleep, and like. But I would like literally be like whacked on pills driving a motorcycle with like no insurance, no nothing. It's
I'd be like a fucking video game. If you've got a closed helmet, I've had tons of bikes. You're like, dude, getting into the zone, right? A couple beer, and you're like, fuck yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, but it's crazy because it's like now I'm like, man, I got a little migraine. I shouldn't drive. But before I'm like, oh yeah, I'm blasted on pills and blow and rum. Let's start this two-wheel death machine.
It's been an hour. I'm totally sober. Let's go.
Yeah. So I find it just my perception now of how things are very interesting. But that's what the other thing is I would go by myself to most of my traveling I've ever done is by myself. I didn't want to wait around for people, and that's the thing. I would be totally fine. I'm just gonna. I don't know. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do it because I don't know if I'm going to like pack up a tent and all that on the bike and then go and then be staying in places, or am I just? I'd probably just be a dirty motel guy, right?
Yeah.
That's how I like to do it because to have some leisure, and I don't know. I would definitely probably stick around California somewhere for a week and then try to get down to Mexico for a week.
That'd be good.
I'll have to look into it more. Like I said, I don't know much about it, but I know that is something that I want in my future, right?
Yeah.
Doing something like that, or I think it'd be good. And that whole sailboat thing, man, I find it so interesting. I have a buddy back home who's right into it, and I don't think he's done anything yet, but he's like in the process. I haven't talked to him about a year, but he's in the process of like him and his old lady are getting ready to do a little something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it'd be awesome. I think, and the other thing too is I might even just get one because if I ever have a marriage or something go south, I mean, we're talking murder here. What better way to get a little double jeopardy?
I got a little boat there for you. Come by it. Come hang out.
Yeah, they'll be using this in court against us here in about 10 years.
Yeah, delete.
Yeah. So exactly, we're joking. This is all a lie.
Yeah.
I
yeah, as if he's getting fucking married.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Who would ever put up with me for that long? So, you operate a crane?
I do.
I thought you operated a tower crane. I was very mistaken.
I'm certified to run all cranes.
Okay, so have you ever operated a tower crane?
Yeah.
Okay.
I fucking hate them. I hate heights.
What's
not a
that
good
like
gig.
climbing up there every day?
It's a shitty climb.
Like, cause it's all dark, right, in the morning.
It
A
is
tower crane
dark.
for
Well,
somebody
yeah.
is a tower crane for anyone who's listening or watching is it's usually a stationary crane. You see them all over the city. I work with one right now. I'm building a high rise, and it's in the middle of it's like in the core. Mm-hmm. This crane, right? So
Yeah.
it sways, man, like a motherfucker.
They're terrible. They're terrible, especially when you're doing concrete. So they sway in the wind.
Yes.
Then if you're doing concrete and you're trolleyed out and they dump the concrete, now you're fucking all this way. So you're all over the map. So it's not good. So your first lift in the day, so you climb the thing, right? So when I was running tower crane, usually had a few drinks the night before.
Perfect.
So you're not in great state to climb 200 fucking
begin
feet
with.
in the morning. Yeah. So you climb up. Then you want to set off your alarms, right? So you do a test lift in the morning and pick up your maximum weight that you can, so you can set off your alarms and know that everything's fine. It's not a great way to start your day.
No.
Being up there. So yeah, I do run those. I hate heights. We're in Vancouver. We're known for earthquakes. You're looking down, all you see is rebar sticking up, right? Every floor is rebar. So there's no good spot to jump. There's no good out if something goes wrong.
How long you been doing it for?
15 years, maybe 17 years.
I thought about when I was a pipe fitter. I
Yeah.
thought about switching over,
Should have.
and because I would see all these guys having a pretty good gig. They were allowed to sleep and they weren't allowed working.
It's fantastic. So when it's raining,
Yeah.
you're dry. So the other night it was raining. I'm dry, kicked back, starting watching a new TV show right now. It doesn't matter. No. Seattle Fire Department show. Really good.
Okay.
So I'm in there watching movies, having a nap, texting people, looking at real estate in Turkey and Bulgaria. And then when it's hot, you got an AC.
So you're laughing.
Right? Yeah. So I'm in a $2 million lazy boy. That's my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to stay at home and kick back on the couch, watch TV, or do you want to go sit in a $2 million lazy boy making absolutely good cash when you're working? And
Are most of them unionized or no?
nope, I'm not.
No. I remember I was.
The tower cranes in the city mostly are not.
Yeah.
I would say. The bigger companies are like Sterling, Mammut,
That's who I worked a lot with.
Searns. Yeah, those guys are all 115 out of Vancouver and 955 out of Alberta. But yeah, I mostly have not been union.
I was when I wanted to become a crane guy. I remember I think he had like the little spider cranes he was using inside the building, and it was just very interesting with me. And they would use a level, just be a torpedo level. So we're talking like a 8 inch level, and that's what he'd be using back and forth to make sure he was good before he lifted. And he was it was another guy from Nova Scotia. I cannot recall his name, but he was just so. It was like minus 35. It was like, who gives a fuck? Or it was like 2+2 or fine. He was just in good spirits all the time. And and then I also thought for the long run too, because I'm probably going to die working construction. I was just like, I'm very not pessimistic, but I was just like, how long can I lift these heavy valves for, or do pipe fitting for? And man, I know, I worked with lots of cats that are old, right?
Absolutely.
But in Alberta, in like minus 30 or minus 40 or something, you're climbing these things.
Yeah, you're not out in the elements sitting in the crane. Like I would recommend if you can.
That's why I got this plumbing thing going, right? I really like this.
Lighter pipe.
It's that, and then I am indoors somewhat. Right now I'm not because I'm building the high rise. But I once I get my red seal, I want to be able to travel.
Okay.
And then I just think of it's like almost like a barber in the way it's like everyone's hair grows. Well, everyone shits for the most part. Most countries, not everyone, but has some sort of plumbing. And it'd be, some countries are going to be different than others, but I'll still be able to kind of bounce around and stuff. I want to, once I get my 2 tickets here, I plan on being down and I want to move to the States.
Okay.
Somewhere warm all year round. I just want to be able to drive a motorcycle all year round. I want to be able to drive it just whatever. No salt, no nothing. Oh, yeah. And I love it here. But I want to go make some American money now. I'm not trying to go fuck off. And that could change tomorrow. I've talked about this. And it's just something that for me, I just want to make some things happen. And I'm just starting to dip my toes into stand-up comedy here,
Yep.
and I'd like to. It'd be either like here or Toronto, I think, to start. Where Toronto would be more so where I could go to the same place and play to 3 different crowds a day.
Yeah.
But here, I don't think it's really like that, right? It's COVID's so fucking strange. So I'm not looking.
There's lots of comedy clubs here in the city.
Well, yeah, I just
Right.
I just been going to this one, and there's an open mic tonight actually at 9, so I do it, and I get so stand up to me is like I find like anybody can make little videos or anybody can do a podcast and all that, and I'm not saying anybody can't do stand up, but I think it's just like an act of courage I find to even get up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because it's not like
Absolutely.
my buddy or I think it was my buddy or my friend. We were talking like,
Especially sober.
and that's the thing. But I'm glad I'm doing it sober, not on drugs, because it's the first time I did it was just in December, and I was sober, so I never knew. Because when I started working again, and I was just worked on drugs, right? So when I started working again, it wasn't too weird, but it was a little like after lunch. It'd be like, I fucking hate this job. But if I was doing pills, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. I love this job. Give me a cigarette. You know what I mean? I'm going to drink some energy drinks and eat some sour keys. Life's great, right?
Yeah.
But so it wasn't too bad. But then stand up, I was glad that I never really got into it. I had an improv audition one time in Halifax. And it was like kind of like a final cut thing. And I was going there for my last audition.
Yeah.
But it was my work's Christmas party. So we're all at the bar. I think my audition's at like 7. So I'm partying, and I start doing a ton of rails, and I bet you I had like 6 or 7 Deladas in me. So they were like, "Is it your audition soon?" And I knew I was aware of it, but anyway, I went to the audition, and there was probably like 10 of us there. And as it went on, I remember I just went. I had like earrings and a watch. I put it like right up by like the judge's table. I just took my jacket, I set it on their table. I don't know what went on. I remember I told some old lady I was gonna fucking kill her. Like I was like, but as a joke. But she was like traumatized. I was just like, we were doing some sketch, and I was just like, I'm gonna come to your house, fuck you, and kill you. and then people were all just like they didn't know what to laugh or none of that. I was doing it with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Like it was people I had, and maybe not just
house. At a senior's house. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe if it wasn't people I just met, it would have went over a bit. And funny, I never got a call back.
Really?
Funny how that works, eh? But
You could be on file.
yeah, like
They'd
literally
be calling you back.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
You have an opening.
Somebody goes missing, they're gonna be like, "Where does that Dougie Steaks guy live?" Right? Jesus. So with the stand up being sober, it's good. I have to remember that when I get excited, I talk fast.
Yeah.
With my accent, it's already hard enough to understand me from what I gather. So when I talk fast, no one can understand me. So I record my sets here. I do it right over. I put my phone on my sink.
Oh, do you?
Do my 3 or 4 sets, 3 or 4 minutes, which is, I like when I tell somebody, like, that's not that long. And I was just like, try being funny for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a fucking long time.
Yeah.
You know? And now I see guys, you know, just in that circle that I'm with that are doing 10 minutes. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've gone to see some major shows here recently, and it's something I'd like to dabble in also.
Yeah.
But watching those guys, the professionals, going up for an hour and a half or an hour, and going, holy Christ, how do you do it? But it seems to be, from what I've gathered, the funny ones are the true stories.
Yes.
Right?
That's what that's what I've noticed too.
Yeah.
So you get your Stephen Wright one-liners and stuff, but
he's funny. Stephen Wright's pretty funny. But yeah, I just went and saw Brad Williams.
Brad Williams, yeah.
Hilarious.
He is hilarious.
And then there was another guy in New West, total pothead stoner out of California.
Yeah, this is at the House of Comedy there?
Yeah.
I can't believe the acts they get there. Up in New West here.
Great acts. I just went and saw
John Cleese and shit was
John
there.
Cleese.
Yeah.
I just went and saw him. Brilliant.
To
see that mind, to sit in the mind, or to watch the mind of a legend who's come up with so many shows.
Monty Python, man.
Yeah. Faulty Towers.
Yeah.
So many. But I've tried writing also. I wrote scripts for a TV show and tried going that route also. But to see a legend and to hear the stories was amazing. That man is brilliant.
What's their venue like? How many people?
It's fair size. I don't know, 500?
Because they're not like, because I couldn't read the names that are going there because it keeps coming up right now. I follow them on like my social media.
Yeah.
And I see that these names are like, they're just below like selling out an arena type of like, that's what I noticed. Like, that's what kind of crowd they get. They get like these headliners.
Yeah.
But there's a comedian called Mark Normand. He's really good. He was there. I missed him. But that's something I wanna make regular going. I think it's only like 20 minutes from here, 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
It's super close.
But the guy who owns it, he owns a lot of comedy clubs down in the States.
Oh, yeah?
Rick Bronson, he owns Edmonton.
There's one in the West End Mall.
Yeah, he owns. Yeah, that one used to be Yuck Yucks, right?
I'm not sure
I
what.
believe.
But that's when I first see my live comedy show. Was in the West End Mall in Edmonton, and
Yeah.
it was I don't know. It was so the crowd wasn't really that good, and it was just a couple people killed. But I like how everyone was present. Everyone's there and they're listening, they're watching, they're not on their phones. And I'm not dissing phones. I'm on that motherfucker 4 or 5 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But stand up is something I really want to pursue, and there's definitely so much fear around it. But now I'm kind of getting like, I listen to other comics. I'm right now trying to just build an open mic circuit. So I just have a Friday and Saturday night. I want to but this is at the same place. But I'm looking to just do it 3 times a week.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I'm gonna ramp that up. But it's like full-time job. I got to go to my meetings.
Yeah.
I try to work out a couple times a week,
Yeah.
and then now the meetings. There's time for everything.
Yeah.
But I really have to start making this. And I don't
Prioritize.
like literally like
your
so I
goals.
quit playing PC because I'm a big video game nerd, right?
Yeah.
So that was my New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Is PC because I'm always just like, oh, I got a couple hours, I'll fucking just game out, right?
Yeah.
But now there's some funny motherfuckers. And comedy too, for me, stand up is like kind of like the last of like. I don't care if it's like, I want to hear some guy say some funny shit. I don't care what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If he talks about like the darkest humor alive or whatever, to me, if I'm laughing, right?
Yeah.
And might not be for anybody, but for me, I don't want any censorship.
Yeah.
I want to go up and watch somebody just say some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, after the show, I'll get you this guy's number. Craig, not his number, his name. And he's probably got one of the funniest skits I've seen recently about him being out in the bush high on mushrooms and the cops telling him he's got to drive away.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
And so is he like a regular like stand-up?
Yeah. Well, he works at Trader Joe's also. He's always talking. He did the huge venue down in California, and he says he killed it. He sold out the weekend there. And then he goes to Trader Joe's. I don't know what that is. I think it's like a grocery store in the States. And he says he gets in first thing in the morning. And the boss is like, here's a razor blade. Clean the gum off the floor. He's like, holy fuck, man. I just sold out like 3 nights.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
I'm killing it.
Get working.
Yeah, but he's very funny.
Yeah, I find there's definitely there's like a whole, that's why like I love being a tradesman. Because I have the safety net, right? And it's allowing me to do this, right?
Yeah.
But there's going to be a time where, let's just say if I get my stand up, let's just say I get a solid 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you need to do a tour. You need to do around 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
To not even a headline. I'm just talking about like, to be a supporting or whatever.
Sure.
When I get that and I have the opportunity to travel, I will take it.
Mm-hmm.
I think my bosses and all that are all pretty cool. They would be understanding. And if not, it is what it is. No hard feelings. But that's what it is. I'm like, just going to make this happen, and I'm gonna set this up so that I can, let's just say in the spring, and be like, hey man, do you want to do a little tour down to Ontario and back or something? I would get in a van, and I would make this happen.
Yeah.
So
Even set up like setting up your own. I was thinking of doing that. I looked at renting Carnegie Hall in New York.
Really?
I called Carnegie Hall. The tour was going to call Shit or Get Off the Pot.
Nice.
Right. My first stand up gig was going to be Carnegie Hall. So I called to see how much it was. How much? I think it was, whatever, say $8,000 to rent. So it was going to be $7 a ticket.
Yeah.
For me to break even. How many people in New York have always wanted to go to Carnegie Hall but can't afford the tickets because they're $150 per pop? $7 gets you in Carnegie Hall to see a guy who's going to make it or fucking break it.
Very interesting concept.
Right? Try it. Who was the guy, Employee of the Month, an actor?
Oh fuck.
Was that his name? He was a comedian. He was the big dog at to start with. He promoted himself. He was renting venues and doing it himself.
Okay, listen. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna look this up. Was it Dane Cook? Employee of the Month?
Yeah.
Dane Cook, right?
Yeah.
Or Dak Shepard?
Dane Cook. I believe it was him. He was the first one to. Yeah. He was a breaker.
What is it?
In the industry.
So we're just going to take a quick break here, guys, and then we'll be back. And I'm going to have some questions for you when we come back.
Okay.
So it'll be good. We'll do a little speed round
right.
thing here. Hey, guys. Welcome back. I got my friend Dave here. We're just on the second half of this podcast. And I have some questions for Dave. So I know you're not always in a tower crane, but we are just going to ask you. I just went on social media. I said, what would be some questions you'd like to ask a guy in a tower crane? So here we are. We don't got to get crazy elaborative,
Okay.
but
You're not going to call the boss.
you're not going to
If I
call the
fail?
boss. But if you want to choke up on your mic,
Yeah, sure.
bring it in.
There we go.
So, okay. Have you ever taken a poop inside or off the crane?
Off the crane, yes.
Inside?
The bathroom.
Okay, so there's a bathroom inside the tower cranes.
No.
Okay.
No, you know what? I did run a crane that had a bathroom
Okay.
over at C-SPAN, the Big Blue.
Nice.
It had a bathroom in it. And an elevator.
God damn.
Pretty fancy. And a kitchen. It was a pretty fancy one.
Who just had like
Yeah, Cadillac.
who just had like a woman in there? You'd be
Yeah.
like, you didn't never have to leave.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. What is your favorite kind of bottle to piss in when you're stuck in a crane all day? If you had one bottle to pick, you can think. Do you have a specific bottle that you would like to piss in?
Gatorades.
You know what? I was thinking that wide mouth.
Yeah.
But what about the volume though? It must fill one
You
of
can
them.
get the big Gatorades.
Okay, big Gatorades.
Yeah.
Good. Shout out Gatorade. Okay.
Sponsorship.
Have you ever cranked one off up there? Have you ever rubbed out a load up there on the crane?
No.
Okay.
These are all tower crane questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because you've used a tower crane before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why we're just
Yeah, no, for sure.
for your short time. For
sure,
your short
okay,
time in it,
yeah.
right? Okay. This is my buddy sent me this. I thought it was funny. He goes, okay. Would you enjoy Schindler's List better if it was in color?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, we'll call the big guy. Was that Spielberg?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so we'll send him in. So I thought.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had color then.
Oh, totally.
Not back then.
No. They
But
did,
when they made the movie.
and they didn't like the colors back then. So anyway, we won't get into that too much. But they don't get me laughing here.
I just heard the funniest joke yesterday, but I don't think it can be repeated.
That's
on
fine.
air.
We'll say that for the stage.
Yeah.
They that was like in 1990, so they had color. But
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely, yeah.
we're gonna keep rolling with the
Okay.
questions. Okay. How often do you get the urge to swan dive off the top? This is a two-parter. So have you ever had the urge to swan dive off the top?
No.
Okay, but if you did, if you had the urge, would you land on the rebar to fuck all the guys up, or would you aim for traffic to fuck traffic up?
I've thought about running with one of those bat suits.
Oh, here we go.
Right? That would be fun.
Yeah. What do you think of rebar or traffic? Traffic?
Yeah.
Shut a little highway down.
Yeah. Because
Nice.
the guys working, they've got a shitty day as it is.
They got a shit, especially
Right?
if you jump.
You land on the mushroom caps.
That, and then if you jump, they gotta get all the laborers. They got a train going to carry shit.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have a bad enough day anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Traffic.
Okay. Fair enough. Does being a crane operator, does it translate to being good at the claw game in the arcades?
Killer at the claw game.
Really?
Yeah. Winner, 100% guaranteed all the time. My daughter loves it. She has more stuffies than you can. Yeah.
So it does translate.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That'd be such. That's a good first date. Oh, maybe we'll try this little crane game over here.
Yeah,
I don't really
bring
have much
Dave.
experience.
Yeah, bring Dave.
Yeah, bring Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the time pulling out of that.
And the last one is: have you ever seen anyone like having sex in any of these buildings or anything like that? Like,
Seen some weird stuff.
so you've seen some weird stuff
Yeah.
in the crane?
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe elaborate on one? Nothing crazy. If you don't want
Topless on balconies
to. Okay,
and stuff.
I think that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of sunbathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen anything like shady going down?
Yeah, it wasn't a tower crane. I worked in Edmonton.
Here we go.
Really shitty neighborhood.
I lived in a really shitty neighborhood in Edmonton, 118th, around there.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was, but I think the liquor store opened at like 7 a.m. because it was Alberta.
Alberta doesn't give a fuck.
And just watching the fucking people coming and going at 7 a.m. like
Yeah.
just sketched right the fuck out. Like, I'm pretty sure they're not working night shift. These
No,
people.
No, they're not getting a couple
Yeah.
beer.
If you're taking back empties at 7 a.m. to replace those empties,
Yeah, there's some trouble.
you might want to go somewhere else. You might want to try something. Water.
I used to go to this strip club called Airways.
Yeah.
So you ever been?
Oh yeah. I used to get
No, go ahead.
I used to get free passes for Diamonds. Do you ever go to Diamonds?
Yes.
Because I told them I went in there once and I told them I was Mr. November for Chunkin' Dales. right? And the lady's like, what's Chunkendales? And I said, I'm a dancer for the ladies that like a real man instead of the buffed guys from Chippendales. She's like, no way. So I used to go in as Mr. November all the time. And I would go out and have a cigarette with the dancers, and they're like, "Oh my God, you totally know what it's like. People treat us just like a piece of meat."
You get me?
I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I totally do, baby." I'm just putting myself through school like you are, right? Holy fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, free passes every time, no cover charge.
Very well played.
Yeah. And then there was another one. Sorry,
go ahead. Do your thing.
We're coming from. Where were we working? Dawson Creek. And I came down to Fort St. John. I think it was Fort St. John. And I got a hotel. And right across the street from the hotel was the nudie bar. So my brother, we always buy each other musical instruments for Christmas. So he bought me a mandolin. Couldn't play the mandolin with a lick. I just got it. I've still had it for 5 years. Still can't play it. So I go in, and I've always got a story. Because it seems to work a little better. I've traveled Europe as Alanis Morissette's bass player.
Unreal.
I didn't pay for accommodation a lot of nights. So I walk in and they say, so what do you do? What's your story? And I said, I'm Michael Bublé's mandolin player. They're like, no, you are not. I said, I totally am. So some of the girls come back to the room at the end of the night. There's the mandolin. They're like, oh my God, you really are. Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect.
Very good cover.
Yeah. So when I was Alanis Morissette's bass player, the cell phones at the time, they were like the flip phones. You couldn't really Google. But if you could Google, they're like, and they would research who the bass player was of the band. And they say, well, that's not you. I said, no, the original bass player has gone into rehab. I'm just filling in for the rest of the tour. That's why you won't see me on the websites.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, because those flip phones, the internet was very shoddy, and it'd be like $30 a second.
Yeah.
It was
and the T9 texting.
Yeah.
Right?
They got to hit C 3 times. They got to C.
Yeah.
You know the drummer for Foo Fighters? Taylor?
Yeah, and Taylor Hawkins.
He used to be Alanis Morissette's drummer. Just a fun little fact.
Really?
But
isn't that ironic?
Isn't that? Oh, no, thank you. Yeah. Alanis puns.
Yeah. How Canadian are we?
Bro, I was listening to her all week. Thank you. I had it on repeat probably
She's
like
fantastic.
15 times.
She was dating Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I think she was in the spotlight there a couple of years ago. Well, before we get too far, I'm going to take this back to the strip club for a minute.
Yeah.
I think we were at Diamonds one night, and we had one of our buddies had all our drug money. So we go in, and then we're waiting for buddy to come with our lines or whatever, and he disappeared on us for 4 hours. And then he comes out, and he looked like he was looked like he didn't score in hockey, and his father was hollering at him or something.
Yeah.
And we were like, I was just like. And then my buddy grabs me and goes, did you spend all our drug money on fucking lap dances? And he's just like, he did. Oh. He spent every fucking dollar that we all had pulled together on lap dances.
No way.
He was like, she really liked me. And I was
yeah.
I was just like, oh, really, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, I was clapping last.
And then at Airways, one time I ate a pile of mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then the girls come out and all this. And being at a strip club on mushrooms was probably just. I remember because I was probably like 22, and I remember I couldn't like look them in the eye, and some girl caught me right because I was so fucking blasted. And she's like, "Oh, I like how shy you are," and I just wanted to be like, "Well, that's because I can't feel my goddamn legs because I'm on mushrooms."
Yeah.
But it was like Airways would trip me out because you could like strip club and then you could just get beer there. You could just buy beer from off sales at the front desk, and the rooms were $80 a night, and they would shuttle you to the airport.
Yeah.
So, shout out Airways. I don't know. I wonder if they're still a thing.
I would imagine. And they had all the rig logos around the whole bar, right?
Yeah.
From the drilling rigs. All the guys. Yeah, I've stayed there plenty of nights.
That was like a
probably hung out.
Yeah.
Probably not even known it.
Probably already there.
Yeah.
That'd be a thing where we'd all just like, even if, let's say we had 3 hours.
Yeah.
Let's say 4 hours.
Absolutely. Get a taxi.
It's only $80 for the room. So we would get the room. I'll drop 10 of us drop our bags in there.
Yeah.
I used to love that because there would be a level of authority in the workforce. So I'd be like a first year pipe fitter, and then there'd be like superintendents, let's say all that, right? So I would be like weird around them. But then after a night at Airways together, you're kind of like
best buds.
Your best buds.
Yeah.
And then when you go back to work, you don't get any special treatment, but there is a bond there. I always remember they'd be like tripping out. They'd be like, how the fuck do you know all these songs? Because I love music so much, right? But I remember I put on some Billy Joel. I'm doing rails with one of my supers, and he's just like, He's like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna look at you a lot different now, because he was just looking at me, so some little like, punk kid that was like didn't really give a fuck, and not that I wasn't that,
Yeah.
but it's funny how like I'm not saying go to a strip club with your fucking workforce, but at the same time like it made life a lot easier.
The bonding.
The bonding was awesome, right? And
Yeah.
it'd just be funny to see somebody like without the white hat on and like without like didn't have to like, okay, let me put my persona on.
Yeah.
That was off, and then to see them getting a little silly.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, man.
But normally when I've done that, so you've got your superintendents and you're just the regular worker and they know everything. But then you can always out party them.
Yes.
And then they become the guys that you look after.
Right? That's very common.
Yeah.
I noticed there was a
Which I don't think out partying someone is a great thing
no,
either,
but
yeah.
there is some status to it where somebody thinks they can go hard, and
Yeah.
there's been many nights where I'd be like, oh, let's get nuts, let's get crazy, and then these guys are in bed, right?
Yeah.
My thing is, it's like I just partied hard, but it was never like to accomplish anything. I
Right.
just like, but I find the people that want to like, oh, let's go nuts and party hard, they would be in bed first.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do as much damage because I hate myself as I can.
Yeah.
Like, let me see how much I can get up my nose before I got to start smoking it, and then let me drink first, right? And that's how it would go. But it'd be like, oh fuck! But one time I was out in Fort Nelson here, and one of my my formers, I remember he was so fucked up. We were at a bowl now. There wasn't a whole lot up there. We were bowling, and he just started eating Caesar salad with his bare hands. But we were like, like normal. It's only about like 8 p.m. So like this girl's bringing us food, and he's like that awesome. He's just like handfuls of Caesar salad eating it. And I was like, with somebody looking at me, you got our Caesar salad over there, Caesar salad. And like now at work, it'd be like different. So now that's the other thing about I used to do that. In my later years, I would not try to party too much. I definitely would party with like a certain amount of people, but I wouldn't go to like, I try to avoid Christmas parties. Even though I'm sober now and stuff like that, I don't mind hanging out with people after work and all that, but I do try to keep my life a little separate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't do Christmas parties.
No, well, I used to.
You're looking for a new job every January. I couldn't handle myself. I would have to tell everybody what their fucking problem was.
Yeah.
know?
And got a little bit of liquid courage.
Sure, I've been here for 2 weeks. Yeah. I can run this fucking place better than you. Yeah. Oh, you're in the sales department? No idea what you do.
Yeah.
Listen to this shit.
Yeah, I got. Oh, you built this company up since you were 14 years old with your father? Your father can go fuck himself. How does that sound?
Yeah.
But I just, it's funny when I think back of like all the interesting things that has happened at work. A lot of it is I don't even miss the partying so much. It's the fucking chaos.
Yeah.
I fucking love chaos.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I want my life to be good and have a good life, but now things are good. Things are like this for me. It's like an even wave. You know, I've had and I have a lot of like, I guess you could say funny stories from it, and it definitely shaped me who I am as a person. But at the same time, it's like, I'm content, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I want a little more sometimes, and I want to, I'm addicted to more. I know there's always that going to be things, so I try to watch that. But it's like the chaos part of it would be like to work 21 days straight in the oil sands, 12-hour days, and then like to be released in the public with a couple grand with you and like 30 of your buddies and being like, what do we want to, we can literally do whatever we want.
Yeah.
That'd be very interesting to me, and it was all new to me. I never had money before, and I didn't know how to fucking save it either.
No.
So I would spend every penny of it. One day's off, we went skydiving. I think it was like $500 all said and done. And I was so fucking high on pills that when I finished, I just remember they were like, "Wasn't that awesome?" I was just like, "No, not really." Because opiates are the best goddamn thing on the planet for feeling good, right? Like, I'm not advertising for them, but like when I went you just like jumped out of a plane and like free falled and then parachuted and like how was it? I was just like wanted to go like meh. And then like just like to go out and party like what you guys do today when you went skydiving, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Like that would just be like a regular tales on days off, and the freedom to kind of do whatever you want, I do miss it a bit because it was nice to camp was good for me in a way. It wouldn't be good for me now because I won't be able to get to my meetings. I won't be able to the structure. But at the time, that's when I would be like, my meals are being provided. They're driving me to and from work. I get to fucking go to work out afterwards.
Yeah.
And like, not that I didn't party in camp, but I would like, I can miss if I missed all next week of work. It would be I would have consequences, right? And maybe I get
Right.
fired, but I'm not like fired in the middle of Fort Nelson, BC. Fired,
Right. Yeah.
which is a whole.
because chances are you've got no money in the bank by the time you get fired.
Yes.
In Fort Mac or wherever you're going to be.
wherever you're at.
Yeah.
So
It's always at the shadiest time. And the
Yeah.
reason you're getting fired is because you're partying. So then you have no bank.
No money.
Yeah.
No money. I used to see that happen to guys, and they started
Oh.
a rule in the camps where you used to be able to like if you fired me, I could like get a job with somebody else in that same camp.
Right.
Now, if you get fired, they will ban you from a camp for like 60, 70 days. I
Yeah.
think that's how it is.
Yeah.
So you can't just pick and choose.
We were up there my first year at Suncor. I don't know, man. Must have been 18 years ago. I'd see journeymen staying over the Christmas holidays because they'd party all their money. They'd have no money to go anywhere, and they would stay in camp over their Christmas fucking holidays.
Wow.
I'm like, holy pathetic, man. You're making, at that time, it was probably $35 an hour for a journeyman.
Oh,
and
easy.
everybody's making $10 or 10-hour days. So
Yes.
you're making good bank,
Yeah.
and you're not spending anything. So I'm like, the 2 weeks before Christmas, if you didn't spend anything, you could go somewhere, go home, go see your family. And then the cops came up and did a drive-through the parking lot because everybody's vehicles had gone home for Christmas. There was some 20-some cars stolen just sitting in the parking lot.
Really?
Yeah, from all over.
So people are just driving them to camp.
Yeah, getting to work.
I could see that there would.
Being in Calgary, Edmonton, stolen cars coming up from wherever.
Well, I know guys that would steal license plates.
Yeah.
And they would just get home wherever they got to go. So they would just steal a ton of different license plates.
Yeah.
And they would just keep switching them. And they wouldn't pay for gas back when there wasn't paying the pump.
Yeah.
So they would just go to gas stations, fill up with a different license plate,
Yeah.
and get the fuck out of there. Full tank of gas.
Yeah.
They would just go to like a bigger one that had many pumps.
Sure.
And they said they traveled back and forth from Canada like this for like years.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think all this stuff and I
We're
like.
filing down the credit card numbers.
Oh yeah.
Yes, when they had the old sliding machines,
Yeah.
right? So you could file your numbers down, 2 numbers or whatever, and then take your silver paint and paint over it. And when they'd slide it through, you're good to go.
Wow.
Because they're missing 2 numbers.
I'm so I can't be shady anymore, but I still love it.
Yeah.
I still like when I'm at work. I'm always I never steal from guys, but I would steal from companies.
Yeah.
And I was just like whatever I get my hands on, right? And I would sell for like less than half the value, and not even for drugs, just to do it, just because I love that whole rush of stealing stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think of if I was older, the shit I would have been into. Because it's kind of with the cameras and all that coming up now, and they getting away
Yeah.
with stuff. And then the airports are so strict too. Because I used to, I steal like box welders and stuff. And then when I get to the airport, they'd be like, "Sir, do you have a car battery in your suitcase?" And I just be like, "No, that's just like a little, those little welders."
Suitcase welders.
I used to steal them a lot.
Really?
That's what I paid for all my chest tattoos.
Really?
Yeah. So I just take them back and then sling them in where I was from.
Wow.
Yeah. But for like now, they're probably worth like $1,200. I sell them for like $200 or $300
Yeah.
bucks. Just get rid of them.
I worked with some guys. They might actually be from Cape Breton at a gold mine
Yeah.
up in northern BC.
I know a lot of buddies that work there.
Yeah. Yeah, capers everywhere. Just found out last night, a guy... Do you have a big fiddle somewhere?
Yes.
The guy who made that I work with.
Really?
Yeah. It's a huge...
It's the biggest fiddle in the world.
Yeah.
It's in Sydney. It's
Yes,
10 minutes
at the cruise ship dock.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember what it is, but it's like literally like I see it every day when I'm home.
I think his name's Cecil. He was telling me, we were talking about Cape Breton the other day. I was singing, I'm a working man, oh I
Rita.
am. Or Minglewood.
Yes.
Or Men of the Deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoever it could be, right?
You like the tunes there?
I totally love the tunes. So he starts going on about, he showed me pictures of his fiddle that he made. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I had a buddy fuck some chick underneath it.
Really?
And I was like, wouldn't that be a good story? Like, oh yeah, I banged your mother under the big fiddle.
Yeah.
And then that was love at first sight. You know, I banged your mom under the big fiddle, and
They fiddled around.
they fiddled. So that's interesting, man. How because that big fiddle is just something I would see all the time, and I just be like, meh. But it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
I maybe once we're done with this episode, we'll see who Buddy is. But the scams, I would hear crazy fucking scams, man.
Yeah.
I one where they used to I know some guys that were rig and even split. Let's say if they want to give it to one of their buddies,
Yeah.
they take the winning ticket and they just put a drop of water on it and they put it in the freezer. And then when they came to pick it out of the hat, they put it in there, and whoever they picked just had to pick out the cold one.
Wow.
So there'd just be like a tiny one that we could just feel it was a little bit frozen, take it out, no one would know the difference.
Good one.
Little things like that, and I find that super interesting. And bro, it's like shady. It's such a piece of shit thing to do.
Yeah.
But there's something, I don't know what it is, why I love it. It's not like I'm not trying to be some tough guy or anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I find it so interesting. Little scams. I don't know
My
why.
buddy Jay, shout out to Jay. He's the funniest guy I've ever met. He's got the craziest stories ever.
We'll have to have him on.
Yeah, he's out in Alberta.
Okay.
Anyway, there's so many stories. But he was a scammer back in the day. He was involved with some shady people.
Perfect.
They would go out and steal high-end cars in Vancouver, take them to a shop, strip them, take the frame of the car, put it on the street, anywhere, just dump it off in the middle of the street. Police would come get it, take it to the insurance place. Then they would go back and buy the frame with the numbers for $200, right? Brand new Jag, brand new, whatever it is. Take that car back to the shop, put the carpet in, put everything back in, and have the numbers and you can sell it.
And it's legit.
Yep. Yeah, they were shady. They would go
That's fucking smart.
They would go out to Alberta, rent a huge mansion or whatever for whatever back in the day, $1,200 a month or $2,500 a month, whatever it may be. Advertise it in the newspaper for, I don't know, 50% less, right? Collect everybody's damage deposit. Jay would be at the house with a pager so people could call them in the days of the pagers, not the cell phones. Jay would have a sleeping bag, roll it up, put it in the closet. People would come and look at the house, give them the damage deposit, go to move in on the first, and there's 100 people moving in.
That's genius.
He was yeah. His dad owned a private zoo in Ontario. We used to hang out with the monkey. Jay had so many. Yeah, his dad used to transport things across Canada.
Nice. But we push it a little bit.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
His dad
A zoo?
a zoo. So he'd take a horse trailer,
Yeah.
put in 2 tigers in the back of the horse trailer, fill the horse trailer or the tiger trailer up with whatever products are in the front. So when the police, and you'd have to have a permit to travel with exotic animals. So anytime they got pulled over, what do you have in the back of the horse trailer? I got 2 tigers.
Yeah. Never mind.
Keep going.
Never mind
Keep
anything
going.
ever else. Really?
Yeah.
I see. This is why I like having people on this podcast, man, because I get to hear stuff like this, and I try to have every walk of life on. And I hope that I'm guessing that you're going to be a regular on here for
Sure.
if you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get another mic
Yep.
or another 2 mics, and whenever I just like having interesting people on, and I see you around lots anyway.
Yep.
So it'd be
Lucky.
good.
Lucky.
Like,
Ain't right?
I know.
Blessed you are. Thank you, baby Jesus.
I know. Thank you, Dave. So, I think we'll leave it at that. We'll leave a cliffhangers. We'll have you on again, and just happy to have you over here.
Sounds good.
Is there anything you want to plug or any shout outs or anything? You're gonna start your own podcast?
Yeah. It's all about liveaboard living.
Okay.
I was hoping to actually bring. I've designed a couple new T-shirts.
Okay.
I'm bringing over. It's called Double D Fashions.
Nice.
For not my boobs, but it's Derek and David, my brother. We're gonna get in on this.
Yeah.
And yeah, writing a children's book.
Perfect. I'd like to get you and your brother on sometime. We can talk about some of them travel stories that I've heard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll, like
He's
I said,
whacked.
we'll leave it on.
He's whacked.
Yeah. No doubt. Right.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, and this has been another episode, guys.
Toodles.
Thanks for tuning in and listening.